Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Hey.
Hey, John.
Hello.
G'day.
G'day, mate.
Oh, I hope that's not offensive.
I'm sure they're like fucking Americans.
Annoying
assholes.
Yanks.
Tell you what's not dinky die is our Australian accent.
Very much not. But what I think is dinky die is this movie.
150,000% dinky die is
fucking Mad Max 2.
The Road Warrior.
The Road Warrior.
Is this movie amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it
fucking
is.
badass. I think it might be. We talked about Escape from New York on the podcast before. We've talked about Dolomite, but this is pushing like the envelope for the earliest film. You know, the beginning of the era of action. I mean, it predates Arnold really coming on the scene as an action star.
Absolutely.
But it has that feel of just like fucking adrenaline fueled like testosterone.
Absolutely.
What's your history viewing?
This was another, I think it was movies for guys who like movies, because I so remember the, Mel Gibson sort of very cool looking and like laid back saying, you want to get out of here? You talk to me. Like, and then be like, Mad Max, The Road Warrior, tomorrow night, 7:05. And it's like
7:05. Yeah. If people who aren't familiar with TBS back in the day, I don't know if it's only because of the Braves or if it was but the programs would always start at 7:05
or 7:35. Yeah, stupid times.
Yeah, 7:40. Like, I don't know why, but it was iconic, and yeah, that makes sense to me. I think this movie was a TBS staple. I just grew up watching it. It was just on a lot.
Yeah,
and any time it was on, you had to watch it because there's nothing else like this.
It was this and Big Trouble and Bloodsport. It's like in that family. It's one of those that if it was on, and Beastmaster.
Yes.
If it was on, I was going to watch it to the very end.
Fuck yeah.
So
dude.
good. So that's why a lot of this, when you go back and watch it as an adult and you see the, the uncut and R-rated version, it's like, oh shit. I don't remember that part.
And how it feels like it hasn't aged at all.
Yeah, it is timeless.
There's nothing about it that feels like, oh, that's kind of hokey or, oh, boy, yeah, this, like, I mean, production value, yeah, it's a little like it was done on the cheap.
Yeah.
Whatever. But the stunts, the story,
it's a
the way people talk, everything, the costumes are just still awesome.
It is lean storytelling, and it works from the opening shot, that opening 4x3 to the very, very end, which is like the exact same shot.
It is a movie that's been like, I don't know how long the first cut might have been, but this feels like a movie that's been like cut down to like the leanest possible version of itself.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wasted.
But to great effect. It was it's like nothing feels like, nothing's missing, nothing's half baked.
Movies should be like this.
Yeah.
I watched just the other day Hidalgo. Did you ever watch that? The old Viggo Mortensen flick?
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
I love that movie.
I loved it, but I also found myself thinking, wow, this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and it just could be shorter.
Yep.
Like, you could cut some of the subplots down somewhat, whatever.
Yeah,
this movie is one that's like, there's nothing left to cut. It's amazing.
The whole weird subplot with, like, the American that he ends up like using her horse or whatever at the end.
Yeah.
It's like why this part, we've added too many minutes have gone into this conversation.
Happening. It doesn't need to be happening. It's like sort of, he does like a rain dance, like sort of speaking with his like his Native American ancestors towards the end.
That's
and it's
right.
Like, now I feel like this is almost borderline offensive for one.
Probably.
And for two, it's like it goes on and on.
I'd forgotten that he was part.
I think he's a quarter Native American or something. It's a good movie. Check out
We love
Hidalgo.
Viggo. Yeah, that movie, it's good.
And
we
Viggo,
love Viggo.
I don't know. Maybe he wasn't beautiful enough, but he's like such a leading man and charismatic.
He's phenomenal. What a talent. And everything he's been in, even if the movie's shit, he's awesome.
Dude, Eastern Promises?
That movie was,
You got the chills.
I did. Because I remember that opening scene, and I was in the theater, and it was like in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was me and like 5 other people in this great big Regal cinema, and that opening scene in the barber shop, and I went, "Holy shit!" like out loud, and like looked around, and all of us were like dying laughing because it was not at all what we were expecting.
I love that.
It's
flick.
so good. Anyway, Mad Max. What was your earliest experience? Also?
I think it had to be the same. Watching it on just TBS whenever it would pop on, or maybe we recorded it onto a VHS and watching it, but never watching like the R-rated widescreen epic version of the movie, you know? And Jesus, but I remember it made such an impression on me because it was unlike anything else that was out there.
I'll tell you what I wasn't doing when I watched it when I was a kid, and that was drinking beer, which is what I am doing now.
What do you got there?
I am drinking the Chihuahua Cerveza by the Chihuahua Brewing Company in Lakeland, Florida. It is the original Mexican-American lager, TM, and it is delicious. I had another Mexican-style lager. This is a Mexican-American lager. This beer is better, in my opinion.
I like that one. I'm going to have one next. Right now I'm drinking Sweetwater's Hazy IPA. It's sort of a newish release from them. It's super duper fucking good.
I'm going to make some noise, and I'm going to pull this thing back from my mouth and take a sip.
Nice. That sounded refreshing as hell.
It is. You
could crush those all day, but that's deceptively strong.
6.5% for a lager is a lot.
You can't just sit poolside and drink a 6-pack without getting hammered.
No. You'd be feeling this after
it's
a couple.
It's not like I like a good Tecate or Dos Equis that you can just crush them all day.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Because they're like, what, 5%?
I think they're like 4.5 or 4.3 or something.
Beer water. Mexican beer water. So what happened? What happened in the chapter 1?
Catch us up, John.
So what happened in chapter 1 is we got some badass narration that the world has gone to shit, you guys. And I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about sometime in the distant future, or maybe the not so distant future. World War III happened. All the oil dried up, so the war machine slowed down. It came to a crashing halt. The world devolved. And as the world devolved and crumbled around and politicians couldn't decide what to do, the crazies came out of the woodwork and took over the roads. Basically, it became survival of the fittest on the world's roadways, and only the strong survived. The people that were willing to eat other people.
Dude, we had a gas shortage within the last month here.
Yeah.
And people were acting a fucking fool at the gas station.
Putting gas in garbage bags.
Dude, I saw some dude was like filling up milk cartons and Prestone, like old antifreeze bottles with gas and sticking them in his trunk. And I'm like, I mean, it's not going to be that long, but I don't think it takes much of a disruption to get people acting like this.
Well, and let that be a lesson to the powers that be. It's like we're going to be fucked if like the hackers really decide to go after us at some point.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm glad I moved out of Houston, the energy capital of America. But anyway, so we are also then introduced to Mad Max. The narrator says, "I only remember Max from my dreams. I was a young man when this happened, and he helped us out when I was a kid." That Max was a broken shell of a man because he lost everything. He lost his wife and child. In the original Mad Max movie. And so he's been out living in the wasteland for 5 years, we think, at this point, and just making it with his buddy dog. We're introduced to Wes, who is one of the Lord Humungus's marauders. He was trying to chase Max down and steal his gas.
He wanted that car as well, probably.
Right,
the legendary, the V8, the last of the V8s.
The last of the V8s. And then Max escapes that trouble and meets the gyrocopter captain, who he takes hostage because the gyrocopter captain leads him to a refinery that's out in the desert where he alleges that there are thousands of gallons of gasoline.
Much as you want.
So, but when Max shows up, Wes, the Lord Humungus, and the marauders are staked out. They've been trying to get in for 4 days. And Max has been like looking for his opening.
Right.
So the first chapter stops when Max is awakened in the middle of the night by the sound of sirens as the marauders are leaving the refinery.
That's spot on.
And that's what happened. And I hold to that. I'm not going to take any of that back.
So the story picks up the next day. Max, Dog, and the gyro captain are sleeping. There's a little bit of a commotion. The armored bus that's sort of been blocking the gate of the refinery compound opens, and 3 vehicles leave. They're going in 3 different directions. The noise, it wakes up Dog, it wakes up Max. The marauders who are camped out nearby, they start to scatter and like try to chase down the various vehicles. As all this is happening, a secret 4th vehicle pops out, and it goes in yet another direction. It seems to be unnoticed at first. Max moves to get a better look at what's going on, and he sees the Mohawkers led by Wes. They start to chase down that vehicle. They crash it. It's a spectacular crash. It's like viewed through binocular vision, you know?
It's so cool.
It's like awesome stunts in this movie that are just like treated as oh yeah, it was just something that he viewed through the binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in this movie, a
stunt.
lot of interesting point of view shots. Yeah.
This is an epic crash with like rollover and all that. The refiners who are in that car, they're trying to get away a little bit on foot. This is maybe the moment that we get to our view of Wes's ass cheeks.
Wes from the waist down
in the rear.
It's sort of risque.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's the whole landscape is very desert. Like, it looks hot as hell, but I think they filmed it in the wintertime.
And I don't think they could have filmed this in the summer.
By all accounts, it was just brutally cold.
Yeah.
And like these dudes who were clad in next to nothing were like freezing their asses off, literally. There's this sort of funny sight gag as Max is looking through his binoculars. Gyro Captain comes up and produces this like comically large telescope from inside of his jacket. It's like probably 4 feet long. Yeah. And Max snatches it from him.
It looks like when he looks through it, it's like a gun scope through that thing.
Yeah, it had like a crosshairs on it. Is also this amazing moment that like when Max snatches it from him and starts using it, Dog is just jumping at it, trying to like it's a game, like trying to grab at the telescope, whatever.
That's so great.
So Wes, he shoots the male with his little wrist-mounted crossbow. Rad,
like shoots him like in his shoulders.
Yeah, he like pins him up against the car or something. The Golden Youth is there. He's got chains on and he's leashed. So I don't know. He's got a padlock on his neck.
He is not Wes's adopted son, is all I'm saying.
If it's weird if he's meant to be his son. He doesn't need to keep him shackled,
It's very subtle. Before he even shoots the guy, there's some definite eye contact between Wes and Golden Youth.
Okay.
And to me, it looks like he's like asking Golden Youth, do you want me to shoot this guy? And that like you get this slight nod from Golden Youth. Like,
now I got to rewatch.
Yeah, it's very subtle. But like, there's definite like nonverbal communication between Wes and Golden Youth before he shoots the guy.
I don't know what their deal is exactly. I like that it's left ambiguous. Yeah, it seems definitely like if nothing else, is a sort of a dominant and submissive relationship that they have going on here.
Absolutely.
Things are going even worse for the female woman who is with them. Like,
and this, I remembered from this, like. On TBS, they just show the reaction shot from the captain.
Oh, like
as he's looking through the binoculars.
His eyes go wide.
And you kind of see that he's just like, he can't believe what he's seeing. And then, obviously they never showed it.
So basically one of the Mohawkers is like seeing to her, I guess. I don't know. The rest sort of mount up and ride off.
Yeah, they're like ripping off her clothes and stuff. It's not good.
It was weird. It seemed like when they got on the bikes and rode off, they were riding away from the refinery.
Right.
Like further away. It made me just wonder where they're going.
I wondered if they were going to go chase one of the other cars that were being chased.
Yeah, maybe. That's almost the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess Max is looking around. He sort of sees his opening.
Yeah, he decides that this is the moment.
This is my chance to make my approach. All the marauders have wandered off. So he runs to his car. He rides down. It seems like he was going to help the woman.
Right.
But he's as Gyro Captain is watching through telescope, it's sort of too late because the biker who had just been having his way with the woman then kills her.
Yeah, like shoots
that's
with a
the moment, right?
Whereas
like his eyes go wide. Like,
well, even before, like when he was first looking through the binoculars, it was when they were like undressing her, like ripping her clothes off, and he was like terrified of what he was seeing. But then this moment, he's like, again, like you kind of see that the captain's got a conscience. Like he knows that what
It's
these
good,
guys
yeah.
are doing is not good.
It was good work from Bruce Spence. Like he was expressing a lot without words.
Yeah.
Is also like it's hard to believe that wouldn't be more value placed on female life in this world.
Totally, yeah.
Like if nothing else, you feel like it's a woman. We got to take her and enslave her. Because
like in Fury Road.
yeah, totally. I mean, it's grim and disgusting, but like also makes sense.
It reminds me. Did you read The Road, the Cormac McCarthy?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
That baby scene. Yikes.
Yeah.
Woof. We don't have to talk anymore about it, but yeah.
So
Go read that book, you guys.
That's a fucking great book.
Oh, it's
Cormac
awesome.
McCarthy, no one writes quite like him.
Nope.
So George Miller had said that the style of violence that he used in this was inspired by Clockwork Orange, which I can see it I can see it when I watch it. It's like the sort of reveling and enjoying and like leisurely violence, you know?
Absolutely.
But like overly sadistic.
Yeah.
It's also just awesome to me how one generation influences the next.
Yeah,
of like,
totally.
I saw Star Wars and I saw Clockwork Orange and I love those movies and I want to bring a little bit of that vibe to my shit.
I love
and
that.
then this movie like brings, inspires future generations, whatever.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Max, he arrives down on the scene. He finds the Mohawker getting dressed. The Mohawker sort of goes quickly for his crossbow, but Max stops him and I assume beats him to death. Like he hit him real hard with the bolt cutters.
He crushes that skull, I'm sure.
Yeah,
skull
I
fracture.
feel like that's a fatal blow that he landed there.
Yeah.
Max
agreed.
is like the reluctant hero, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, when we were talking about, is he going down to save this woman, or was he going down because he knew by the time that he got there, they'd be dead?
He's opportunistic as well, right?
He could scavenge.
Yeah. I feel like he has a moral compass, it seems clearly, but he's also that loner. He's got like a lot of Han Solo in him.
Yeah.
I feel like.
He'll do the right thing in the moment, but man, he'd rather not be in that situation at all.
To do it.
He's like,
I wish I wasn't here.
God.
So Max, then he goes to the male refiner who's been, shot, as you said.
Yeah.
And he's like pinned by arrows up against the fender or something of his car.
Mm-hmm.
He basically, that dude's still alive.
Yeah.
Who had to watch all of this happen, presumably. Max tells him he wants some gas. The guy says, take me back to the refinery. You can have all the gas you want.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, I'm going to help you, but I need
He's
fuel.
got his own agenda.
Yeah.
Right? So Max uses those bolt cutters. He cuts him free from the car, I guess, that he was pinned up against. Max drives back to the refinery with the guy. We got our first glimpse of the feral kid.
I love it, like popping up in the foreground.
He's like a fucking like a gopher or something.
He's like dirty, shaggy looking thing holding what looks like a stainless steel boomerang or some shit. Like,
what an amazing creation of a character.
Yes. And because, I mean, I still refer to people sometimes. I'm like, and I'll just be like offhanded. The guy looked like Feral Kid. Like
Feral Kid. He's credited as Feral Kid.
Yeah. It's
awesome.
It's amazing.
George Miller said that the idea was sort of inspired by these, it's sad, these parentless children who were in Vietnam after the war.
Oh, shit.
Like roaming around the cities, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City or whatever else. And like, they were just sort of packs of kids
in the
wandering.
Streets. Yeah.
Like,
that's tragic.
Terrible. So Max, he pulls up to the gate. Feral Kid is like, seems fascinated by this new person who's arrived. He's like wandering alongside him, just sort of watching him.
And this is like, in addition to the boomerang, we see he's got like this giant, like big ass glove on his left hand, just like huge.
He's gotten maybe the most epic mullet we've ever seen on Feral Kid. It's huge.
You'll see when we watch Master of the Universe, but there's a character in Masters of the Universe that has the same haircut.
Oh fuck! I can't wait now. I feel like Feral Kid is basically a dog.
Yeah,
like he's a wild creature.
I bring this note up later in the movie, in the confrontation at the very end between like the last crash, like right before the last crash. I wondered if Feral Kid, given his get up and the way he looks and stuff, had been a marauder that the refiner crew adopted. He'd been like kicked to the curb or like abandoned or something like that.
Yeah.
And just there's something about him that would make sense to me if he'd been like, that was his tribe. But
he had been with our marauders before.
But he'd gotten abandoned for whatever reason, or his mother escaped and had the baby, something like that.
He definitely, I feel like, was abandoned at some point. He's sort of halfway adopted, but he won't fully embrace the refinery crew.
Yeah.
He's dressed like all in fur, right? He had this sort of streak in his hair too that Max has.
Yeah,
it's like, is it from stress or shock?
PTSD. He probably watched
shit.
a family member die or something when he was younger.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So Max, he's carrying the injured man over his shoulder. He's sort of holding his weapons belt off to the side to sort of show he's not a threat or whatever. The leader tells Max to freeze, turn around, spin around, show us whatever, everything. Yeah. They recognize that injured man. They tell Max to drop his shit.
Yeah.
He does. The armored bus moves out of the way. The refiners come rushing out to tend to the guy.
Yeah, a woman's like calling him Nathan, like screaming his name. Nathan.
Do you think it's the son or some relation?
I think that it's the older woman.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Woods. I think it's probably like her son or a brother or something like that.
Anyway, they all come out. They pat Max down as well. Bring him inside along with Nathan.
There's a lot of bows and arrows and crossbows and things in here too.
Them, yeah.
And I will also note here, awesome job from the costume mistress as well. Costume master, I guess we like, she's the costume master. That the refiner folks have got a uniform. Everyone's in like lighter colors, and there is some color like pops of green and pink and stuff, but everyone's wearing like light colored jumpsuits and makeshift white football pad armor and stuff like that.
You have to wonder whether there are that many pads around.
They raided high school gyms around Australia. But like American football pads in Australia?
I don't know what they were wearing those for back in that era especially. But it's a look. It's an aesthetic.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's cool. There's all sorts of odd customers in there. A lot of them are giving Max the cold looks.
Yeah.
And also Max is like sizing up, I feel like, the community.
Totally, yeah. He's looking around. He sees the wells and stuff like that.
The great thing about the whole Mad Max universe, from one movie, from the original all the way to Fury Road, is like there's just so much visually interesting things happening, so much detail. It reminds me of the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, like that. No one will notice that the knife that this guy's carrying has like engraving and Elvish written on the blade, but it just does add something in some way. Like these things that are in the background that are, you can never quite tell what's going on, but someone's put thought into it. I fucking love that shit.
Agreed.
So their leader comes out. It's this guy named Papagallo.
Which is, I think is Italian for parrot.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Papagallo.
So he's like a middle-aged blonde dude kind of.
He sort of looks Jaggerish.
Yes, he sort of had a rugged, craggly face, like weathered.
Yeah, he does look weathered.
So Max basically says he found this guy a couple miles down the road, left for dead. Papagallo asks him, what about the other vehicles? Did you see what happened to them? And Max says they were, heading the other way, being chased. They're in heaps of trouble.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're going the other way in heaps of trouble.
Max is like talking, like he's keeping it brisk. He's like, this guy told me I can get some gas. I need to go. Like,
yeah, basically. I think he's probably in a hurry. I got to get out of here before the marauders come back.
Right.
Now, Max says he had made a deal with the guy that he could have all the gas he wants as long as he brought him back. This guy who, I don't know if his character had a name. I just refer to him as the haunted-looking man.
That's a great description. The haunted-looking man.
He likes PTSD. Yeah. Like, if PTSD was a picture.
He looks like he hasn't slept in weeks.
Yes, that's a great shout. He steps forward. He asks, what about the woman who was in the car? Max says she's dead, but it was quick. Which is definitely not the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Max is like trying to be the good guy, I guess. He says he just wants to get his gas so I can get out of here. This badass woman steps out who's credited as Warrior Woman.
She's attractive.
Dude, she is a stunning looking woman.
Crimped hair and all.
Crimped hair, had a big scar on her face as well.
Yeah.
Nuts. Basically, she steps out. She says Max might be one of them and we shouldn't give him anything. Her role was written in the script as a man, and it was another George Miller, like, a change that he suggested. We should make it a woman.
That's dope.
I think in his world, I feel like it's not so much about being male or being female, but being like a dominant person or a submissive person, a follower or a leader.
Can you step into the role and lead?
So, she says that he's trading in flesh, mercenary trash.
It's harsh words. You just met him. You don't know him.
I mean, they have a point, but it is harsh.
Yeah.
Max tells him, like, look, talk to the guy. He'll explain. It seems like in the meantime, that guy has passed away.
Yeah, Nathan did not make it, you guys.
So I think it's Papagallo tells him, if he had a contract, it was with him, and it died with him.
Right.
Papagallo tells him to get rid of Max. They start to carry him out of there.
Does it seem to you it's like these refiner folk they've got a bloodlust on them just as much as the Marauders do? They seem like they're kind of excited to kill Max.
On one hand, I feel like it's, like another mouth to feed. We just can't take it on. But also, I agree with you. They don't seem like... I have more thoughts about what happens later in the film as well, about what's going on within the compound. But I feel like everyone's looking out for number one in this world.
Agreed. Yeah.
So... yeah, they roll his car in as they're dragging him out. Like, what were they planning? Were they going to steal his car and put him out on foot?
Or kill him?
Yeah. Or
maybe sacrifice him to the Marauders somehow, but they were definitely going to keep the car.
I love the mechanic.
He's badass. And the rig that they've got him pushing around on, it's not a wheelchair.
He's like a paraplegic. Yeah. He's sort of on a harness.
It's this giant mobile device. It's like they took an old tractor or an old cherry picker and it's really, really cool.
He's got like his right hand man, his assistant.
Yeah,
gotta hand it to you, treasure. I love that.
Last of the V8 Interceptors.
Last of the V8 Interceptors, a piece of history.
Yeah,
he called Max treasure. That's amazing to me. The mechanic, he's found Max's booby trap and disarmed it already. That harness rig we talked about, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The production design on the movie is amazing because everything is constructed out of shit that would be found.
Yeah. Well, and then also it's like that guy probably designed the thing himself, ostensibly, the character, and was like, a wheelchair is not going to work. I need to be able to be up high. I need to be able to be up low. I need to get under stuff. I need to be above stuff.
And it has to look like someone engineered that shit.
Yeah.
I love that. I love also as the mechanic is sort of being threatening towards Max, Dog runs in and just latches onto the mechanic's feet. He doesn't seem to feel it.
Right, his dead legs.
That's dog assist number 4.
Good boy. Good boy.
Others are grabbing at the dog and Max like leaps into the fray.
Max is trying to protect.
That's the first time
his friend.
I feel like we've seen him
show emotion
and take quick action and not just sort of like I'm above and I'm too cool.
He's
for
like,
all
you
this.
do what you want, but you're not going to touch Dog.
I like that Max seems to be as loyal to the dog as the dog is to him.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome stuff. So at this point, a lookout cries out that the Humungus's marauders are returning.
Oh shit!
And they close the gate real quick. This like the people and animals are scattering
everywhere. It's like a
everywhere.
fucking ark in there. It's like pigs, rabbits, chickens, like things running around.
Feral kid, like he drops down into this tunnel system. It's like the fucking Viet Cong.
Where's he going?
The armored bus is wheeled back in front of the gate. There's chaos all around. Warrior woman takes Max and handcuffs him onto a railing.
Why not at that moment? I guess maybe they'd be afraid that he would open the gate.
They don't trust him, I suppose. Yeah. The soldiers are all taking up arms, taking their positions.
They've got like the giant flamethrower cannons and then like harpoon guns.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes with crossbows and bows and arrows. It is weird. There aren't near as many guns in this as there are in Fury Road.
That's true. Yeah.
But maybe the guns are being hoarded elsewhere.
Right.
Now, the Marauders roll up. They've got these hostages. Apparently, the people that rolled out in the various different directions.
Heaps of trouble.
They're like being bound onto the front of the vehicle, sort of as human shields.
That is a memorable shot when the Marauders are rolling up and the hostages are like,
they're
tied
splayed
up to
out on the hoods of the cars and like on these.
I remember those
hand trucks.
I remember seeing that like vividly as a kid.
Yeah, dude. That's amazing. And it's also like, of course they would do that.
Yeah.
Like, logically, it makes all the sense in the world. And when you see it, it's just shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you have to pause to recognize just like the insane amount of detail. Like, every member of Humungus's Marauders has their own unique sort of costume and their own vehicle that was specifically constructed, whatever. Like, if you pause it and study, you could just like study the frame for hours, the way that different people are dressed.
Was it Morrisseau was her name? I wonder if individuals had input with her, like on what they were going to wear, or if she just like went in and was like, they had all this stuff and just was like this mix and match until every person looks like their own unique thing.
What I had read was that they raided sort of like thrift shops.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And sporting goods stores and S&M shops.
That's hot.
to cobble all this together. And you think about like these assless chaps and stuff like that, like it's probably not so much as this is what I prefer to wear as much as like this is what I could find to wear. Like, and it's leather and that's good. I don't necessarily want my ass cheeks out, but it's what I could find. Yeah, it's amazing also, like, you know, I feel like this movie went under the radar, but then Fury Road won all the fucking Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
For all this stuff, the production design and costumes and hair and all that shit, and well deserved. It's incredible. I also like that a lot of the clique like there's these standouts that they never talk or anything. There's Bear Claw Mohawk.
Yeah.
Is a character. One dude is credited as Pink DeSoto. The dude who drives the Pink DeSoto, and he's got his hair is pink and his beard is dyed pink, memorable. And he's like pink head to toe leather.
Yeah.
What the fuck though?
It's awesome.
Who came up with that?
It's awesome.
I love all of it. So as all this is happening, Wes and Max sort of lock eyes.
Oh shit! Yeah, Wes like pulls out of the pack. Yeah, like you see him.
He's
roll
got Golden
up
Youth on there. He kicks the kickstand down. I feel like he steps off his bike and is just staring at Max.
Yeah, he like gets this like, slow stand up and like there's a stare down.
Dude, Vernon Wells was a striking looking man.
Yeah, and his voice is crazy too. Yeah,
he does more screaming than talking in this, but
yeah,
it is such a transformation he had in the 4 short years between this and Commando.
Big time.
Like, he's almost unrecognizable between this movie where he's like chiseled and cheekbones and like looks like a fucking model. He's just beautiful, to Commando where he's sort of schlubby.
Right.
And, you know, and then now he looks even unrecognizable to either of those things. It's just the years he put a lot of mileage on.
Yeah.
I guess.
Drank a lot. Who knows?
Now we've got this guy, Toady, who takes the stage. He's sort of like the mouthpiece.
He is. It's just interesting here that like he's like an orchestra conductor, like gives this cutoff.
Think of Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Yes. He like gives this cutoff and all the Marauder engines cut off at once in unison. It's amazing.
He's got to introduce the Lord Humungus.
It's so
the
cool.
warrior of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
I love he's like relishing delivering these lines. And he has like a fox for a hat.
Yes.
And some goggles.
It's amazing. And like he introduces Lord Humungus. Yeah, we get that head to toe sort of pan up.
Yeah.
He's wearing S&M gear, man. There's nothing else to say about it. Like a straight up harness of some sort.
I guess it's easy to clean yourself off at night.
It's like leather with studs. If I had that physique,
yeah, I might just show it off all the time.
I'd never wear a shirt.
Same.
He's got that insane hockey mask.
He's jacked to the tits.
It's covering his presumably horribly burned face.
Yeah, it's disfigured.
I feel like none of this should work on paper, but it fucking works.
Oh, yeah.
All of it. Like, we're bought into this world. The Humungus, he gets on the PA, says he's disappointed that they forced him to unleash his dogs of war. It's all so fucking great. He says they're being selfish by hoarding all the gasoline.
I love that he's like chastising them.
Yeah. He says the scouts that you sent out said they've been planning to find a truck basically to haul that tanker.
Right.
But their mission is, he says, such a puny plan. I love the great use of the word puny.
Yeah.
He says they'll never make it out of this valley. And then at that moment, like a jackrabbit hops out and Wes sort of whirls around and shoots him with his little wrist-mounted crossbow.
It's a very interesting little like moment.
Wes is such a badass, man. Yeah. Toady leaps on that moment. He screams out, he's like, nothing can escape. You see? One of the hostages sort of yelling that they should give them nothing and just blow up the refinery.
This shit up. Get out of here.
Wes runs up on him and just knocks the guy out with a headbutt to the face.
The first of several headbutts in this movie, or like just two that like straight up kill people. Or
all this shit is crazy. So good, man. Yeah. Feral Kid, he pops up out of a hole outside. He chucks his boomerang at Wes, who sort of ducks and dodges it. Mm-hmm. It does what boomerangs do, apparently.
Right.
It comes back to the kid. He catches it. That boomerangs in general are just fucking amazing to me.
Yeah, the physics of a boomerang is
I looked up videos because I'm like, is that just like sort of a thing that people pretend like it's real? But no, like the way they're built, they're winged on one side, sort of, and they'll do a big old loop and come back.
It's awesome. It blows my mind.
Wes is pissed.
His fucking crazy face all the time.
Feral Kid throws that boomerang again. Wes ducks, but it hits Golden Youth right in the fucking head.
Can we just talk about like the speeding up of the frame rate or whatever for like the action sequences that George Miller decided to do?
It's cool.
I feel like that was something that was done a lot in like kung fu movies and martial arts movies and things like that. And I can remember other movies where, you know, a director employed that similar technique. But this is one that sticks out to me, like these moments in this movie in particular, where Miller like sped things up to make the action like go really,
it turns
really
into
quick.
like a holy shit.
Yeah, it's like fucking hell.
That just happened. I mean, this boomerang's like lodged in Golden Youth's head.
Thick in his skull.
So Wes grabs the boomerang and sort of rips it out of Golden Youth's head. He chucks it at Feral Kid, missing just badly. As the boomerang is sort of whirling around and returning, Toady, he goes fucking out of his way to try to run after. I got it. He leaps and it just takes his fingers off his hand.
And that's why Feral Kid has that gauntlet.
Yeah.
That like chainmail glove with fur on the other side.
The gang, the Marauders, think it's fucking hilarious.
Maybe they've been waiting this whole time for Toady to like get injured. I guess injuries are funny.
What the fuck was he thinking? Trying to catch it. Just let it fall on the ground.
He's stupid.
That is nuts to me.
Probably on drugs.
Feral Kid sort of backflips.
Sweet stunt
back
from that
into
kid.
his hole and scurries away.
I want to know what that kid's story was at the time, like Emil, whatever his name was.
What he was doing?
Yeah, just like how do they find
I think he was just a school kid.
A very specific look.
He did look kind of Cro-Magnon.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, even Toady. Fucking Toady seems to see the humor in it.
Yeah.
Like, he sort of starts smiling, like, oh, I'm making the guys laugh. Like, by losing. I feel like injuries are just a commonplace in this world. Like, you lose an eye or you lose a hand or whatever, and you just keep on going, I guess.
Yeah.
I love Humungus. No more games.
Yeah.
He says he has an offer for him. Wes is out of his fucking mind. He's like possessed.
His lover / ward has been killed.
No more talk. We go in, we kill.
Yeah, that's a good impression. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Humungus puts him in a fucking
He sort of
sleeper hold.
he puts him in the sleeper. Wes is just instantly repeating. He's like, kill. And then I love, like Humungus has got the weird, like fucking pulsating veins in his head.
It's so gross.
Oh my gosh.
Very memorable.
Delivering memorable lines. Be still, my dog of war. I understand your pain. We all lost someone we love.
See, this is what I'm saying. It's
Shit like that is incredible.
Yeah.
It's but we do it my way. And then Wes like, losers wait. It's so awesome. I fucking love all of this.
It is amazing.
We all lost someone we love.
But that's what I'm saying is like even Humungus in his weird way, there's like a code. There's a weird sense of honor and loyalty and
I don't understand any of it, but it all makes sense.
It's like we all lost someone, but we're doing it my way. Yeah.
So Humungus says they've got them where they want them. Like once we have the gas, Wes, then you can have your revenge. Basically, he puts Wes to sleep.
In an illegal sleeper hold.
Wes is like a wild animal.
Yeah, totally.
Like, there was this magazine, Empire Magazine, did a poll, I guess, and Wes was ranked the #1 henchman in movie history.
That's fucking awesome.
I don't know who else would be on the list. He's like a Grand Moff Tarkin maybe is awesome.
I was gonna. I guess you'd consider Darth Vader to be the big bad until the Emperor.
He's not really a henchman, I guess. Yeah. There's a lot in Bond movies like Jaws or Odd Job.
Yeah,
like just memorable henchmen. There's something
Wes
to playing
amazing.
a henchman. Yeah, he steals the movie almost. He's fucking incredible. Now Bear Claw Mohawk, he comes up, he carries Wes off. This is like what Bear Claw Mohawk? Well, he's got this big sort of claw, like Bruce Lee style claw with the crossbow mounted on it. And he's covered in fur. He's got like a sort of a luchador mask on almost. We got Humungus is saying there's been too much violence, too much pain.
Tries to sound magnanimous.
None here are without sin, but I have an honorable compromise. He got his whole pitch. He says, just walk away. Give me the pump, the oil, the gasoline, the whole compound, and I'll spare your lives. Just walk away.
Do you think that if the refinery community left, like he was saying, that they would have been spared.
That he would have honored that deal?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they would have murdered
They would have
them
massacred him and taken the compound.
probably eaten their bodies.
Yeah.
Even though at this point they haven't eaten anyone that they've killed. They've left the body sitting outside.
Yeah, we haven't seen that happen.
Anyway.
Who knows? But he's basically saying he'll give them safe passage if they just walk away, and there'll be an end to the horror.
It's so weird. Yeah,
the scene is so memorable, dude. Do you remember the South Park where they
No.
there was like, I don't even know what the plot of the episode was, but there was basically the boys and the girls had a fort, and the girls had the fort and the boys wanted to take over the fort, and they had to tell him Butters, like,
are you serious? That's awesome.
Like, and he's like, I don't know what to say. And they're like, just stay. And he like pulls on this mask. He's like, just walk away. Just walk away. I mean, into all of this. We've all lost someone we love.
That's amazing.
It's so good, dude.
Fuck. South Park is awesome.
The refiners, they're not going along with this.
Yeah, they're like, no.
The marauders begin to disperse. Humungus tells them he's going to give them 24 hours to decide. Right. Wes is woken back up. He's like inconsolable. He's being restrained by a bunch of guys as they drive him away. God bless Vernon Wells.
Yeah.
That man is fucking amazing. He just goes for it.
He's given it 110%.
There's probably never been a movie that he was not like 110% all in on.
And that's probably why he got hired for shit like this, because he would just go all in.
You got the haunted looking man is screaming like, we'll never walk away.
And wastes an arrow like a dumbass. We're going to have to go outside and get that.
Feral kid, he goes and collects his bloody boomerang.
Yeah.
And I think that wraps us up for this section.
Max just kind of watches as the baddies leave, and that's all she wrote for episode 2.
Yeah, dude. We got a theme. Like every episode ends with the bad guys leaving.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. This movie's so good.
I fucking love it, dude. There's no wasted motion.
Yeah, it is like the last of the V8s.
That's awesome.
She's purring she's humming like a top.
I can't wait to talk more about it, but I'll have to wait until next week.
We hope you guys are enjoying the show, listening along, enjoying this. If you haven't watched this movie in a while, go cue it up so you can enjoy the ride with us.
It aged well, my friends. It has aged well.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
We'll be back.